The COVID-19 pandemic is considered the most crucial global health calamity of the century and the greatest challenge that the humankind has ever faced since the Second World War. If that is not a good intro, I don't know what will. Since the implementation of Movement Control Order on 18th March 2020, Malaysia has undergone a serious economical decline. And one of the sectors that took a heavy toll is the tourism industry. Last year, tourism has brought in 86 billion ringgit from 26 million tourists in 2019 alone. This year, it's going to be a lot less. And we have heard about tourism related businesses going bankrupt throughout this pandemic, and one of them is the transportation sector. From travel restrictions to flight cancellations, the airline industry has been the hardest hit during the COVID 19 pandemic. And the airline companies nationwide have been forced to halt their operations. Our reporter also said that the major airlines have removed their staffs to cover up their expenses.
Malaysia's aviation industry is projected to lose 13 billion ringgit Malaysia this year as air travel continues to face travel restriction. This include 10.9 billion ringgit Malaysia lose for Malaysia-based airline, such as MAS, Air Asia and Malindo Air. And then another loss of 2.1 billion ringgit Malaysia from airport operators including Malaysia Airports Holdings Berhad and Senang Airport Terminal Services Sdn Berhad. On the same topic, MAS has also introduced salary cuts and offered unpaid leave to over 13,000 of its employees. The steel local carriers also affected over 4 million passengers and around 600,000 passengers were also given refunds worth 399 million ringgit Malaysia.
Although the airline industry has been the major hit in transportation sector, other transportation types such as taxi is also worth considering.
Since the first movement control order, the drivers employed in app-based taxi services are economically suffering in the short term due to the stay-at-home order. This is because most of the taxi drivers are informal and privately owned, cause them to constantly pay for the maintenance costs. Before MCO, the drivers will get so many customers in tourist destinations, hotels, theme parks, cities, malls, and so on. But now, going around this area is only wasting petrol. You will not find any people in these areas to help you.
The perception of risk associated with crowded areas led people to avoid using public transport modes, including buses. This led to the bankruptcy of bus operators. Our reporter stated that the major bus operators in Terengganu were going bankrupt.
Kuala Terengganu, more than 30 bus and tour coach operators believed that they were essentially bankrupt. The operators are targeted by credit companies since they were unable to repay loans for the past 8 months. iHoliday Sendirian Berhad operator Muhammad Shahril Zulkifli said most bus operators have to bear huge loss after 90% of their income source decline. Since the MCO, the bus operators have not been able to generate income, thus not being able to pay a monthly loan installment of RM11,000 for each bus. Now imagine if an operator had 5 buses.
Machinery transport modes are not the only ones getting their workers to work unpaid from home. And Datuk Sri Ashraf Iskandar bin Muhammad stated that over 120 rickshaw pullers has not made a dime since the movement control order.
Persatuan Penerik Beca Pulau Pinang had requested Majlis Bandaraya Pulau Pinang to consider offering temporary jobs as they had been affected by the movement control order. The action was taken due to cover 120 registered rickshaw pullers lost their source of income because they were no tourists. It is sad to see there are a number of rickshaw pullers who had to sit in their rickshaw because they have failed to pay the room rent. 97% of their source of income is affected by the MCO, with rickshaw puller literally living off their only job.
We are currently connected to the head of Department of Statistics Malaysia, Muhammad Anik Arfa bin Muhammad Shahril, to estimate the impact of COVID-19 pandemic on tourism industry as well as its transportation sector. Hello, siapa di sana?
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi taala wabarakatuh. My name is Muhammad Anik Arfa bin Muhammad Shahril.
Yes, Mr. Anik Arfa, could we get a rough count on the financial impact that you gathered from the tourism sector?
Losses suffered by the country's tourism and culture industries in the first half of this year from the COVID-19 pandemic amount to around 55 billion ringgit. Since the entry ban, many services are struggling to survive. It can be said that Malaysia will lose at least 60% of its tourism business by 2020. Thousands of hotels, restaurants, transportation operators are facing bankruptcy. People no longer travel. Based on Department of Statistics, people have changed their lifestyle to the new normal. As you can see, people are limiting tourism activities at a staggering 67%, whether it's going to extraction sites, spending night in hotels, and using transportation for any sort of tourism activities.
Transportation sector indeed has declining since the COVID-19 pandemic, and the government has taken many initiatives to turn the favor upside down. And are we going to see more recipient of tourists next year? How long are the transportation sector going to sustain in upcoming years? It's a wrap out. Thanks for tuning in and stay safe.